following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey, I'm Christine.
And I'm Gabby.
This is 50 Shades of Bullshit. Welcome back this week.
Hello. Before we start, I want to let everyone know it's my girl's birthday today. She's 29 again.
Yes, I am.
I wish I was there to celebrate, my darling.
I know.
Happy birthday.
Hey, thank you. It's nice. Appreciate it.
Any fun plans?
I am going to go have drinks with someone tonight.
A first date, my dear?
Yeah. Just checking it out. You never know.
Lucky man.
Keeping my options open. I'm seeing it, different stuff, seeing what happens.
Hey, keeping yourself out there. I love it.
You want to hear something funny? I just looked down at my phone and I got an email and it said datemyage.com, just like this random email out of the blue. And there's a guy, he's super hot, by the way. It says Francisco 36 wants to send you a message on Date My Age. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, buddy.
Francisco.
36 though. He thinks I'm his age. I'm all down. It's my 36.
Hey, I told you you're 29 again. That's when I stopped. That's when I decided I'm done. I'm going to stop at 29. So every year I just turn 29 again.
29. My granny used to say she was 19 every year. She's like, this is my 19th birthday.
Yeah, but I like drinking. So that's a negative ghostwriter.
29's not bad.
I think so. It was a good year. But it's going to be a good year for you though.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year for me. So how's everything going with you?
Good.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Today, our person, Chantal, who's coming on the show with us, I have to tell the listeners, she sent us her packet for her, love and relationship coach, raise your love signal. And she wanted us to fill out this information. And, I took a look at it and I'm like, yeah, this is easy. I can do this. And I put it off and put it off and I just couldn't do it. And then I finally did it and got it to her this week. It's terrible.
Like at first you and I were going to do it together. Like, we were going to be on the phone or kind of a Zoom call and just kind of go through the questions together and like bounce it off each other.
Yeah.
We just never could connect. And then finally we're just like, I'm like, oh my God, I am a procrastinator. That's just kind of my nature. Always have been in my, when going through school. But sitting down, these were some these questions made you think.
Yeah. And I didn't want to think.
I didn't either.
I was like, I know what I want. I know what I, desire. And I don't have a problem typically just talking about it, but then actually forcing myself to put it into like a format for someone to read. I was like, I really struggled, but I'm better under pressure, I think.
The questions that were in there, it's like really kind of, it's not just like, I want, tall, handsome, family-oriented, career driven, it really dove into
some deep thoughts,
some really to break it down, like some really specific thoughts. And I'm just,
yeah,
for a minute, I felt like I was being repetitive.
Me too.
And then it kind of felt like I was being a little whiny-ish. Did you feel that? I felt like I was kind of whining.
I can't wait to hear your answers.
I'm really nervous about yours.
Mine are with it. They are.
Yeah, you're the crazy bitch. You're the crazy girl.
I think I tried to be, pretty specific and really thought about it. Like, in the past, if someone had said, what kind of guy you want, I would have said taller than me for sure. And my date actually tonight is shorter than me, which is surprising for me, but he's so funny and he's so sweet and he's really attentive and he's a lot of things that, I've been talking about wanting. And I was thinking I got to look beyond, that kind of thing, because who cares, right? I mean,
But then it goes from, what do I want? I want a
Mhm.
lot of things, but do I really need those things?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what kind of, it made me think. And like you said, like, this week has been rough at work. And once it hit like 5 o'clock, like I did not want to think at all. So I took this seriously. I had my little White Claw next to me as I was reading through and going through. And I'm
Right.
nervous. I'm excited. I'm really curious to see what she says and how she kind of, digested our answers.
I love it. I can't wait to hear. So let me tell the folks about what today's about. We are doing this project or this. I cannot talk today, so we're just going to
Her
try
program.
Thank you, project program. See, it's the same thing. It's called Raise Your Love Signal. And our guest is a love and relationship coach. Her name is Chantal. She has more than 20 plus years of experience in the spiritual journey and community, which I think is phenomenal. So Chantal's passionate about all things love, dating, relationship. She founded Raise Your Love Signal, an emotional weight loss coaching program helping women achieve the ultimate love connection. And you say weight loss, and I'm down.
Right?
She also teaches women the proper skills and how to be in a healthy, loving, long-term committed relationship. Once you have found that in a special partner. So I'm really excited to bring Chantal in. Welcome to the show, Chantal.
Hello, ladies.
Yay!
I was really enjoying your exchange and listening to you both really digest wants versus needs. It was so beautiful.
I'm like nervous. I'm not waiting to hear what you have to say. Be like, what, Gabby, we have a lot to work on.
Right?
Well, you know what, ladies? You're exactly like all of my other clients that I work with when I do this exercise, because women and men really do think they know what they want. But when we dive deep and do this kind of work that we'll talk through the show, it's like most people are like, deer in the headlights. They're like, I didn't think about this. I didn't see it that way. And so it's a really, really interesting and very, very powerful exercise.
How did you get into this kind of work, Chantal?
So since my early 20s, I've always been passionate about love, dating, and relationships. I still remember being in my early 20s with my roommate. After my long-term committed relationship when I was 19 to 26, I was like, wow, an adult, so young. I need to live a little. And I wanted to just experience and try everything. So I went on a rampage of dating and just experiencing a lot of different things for many years. And then
my life.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can identify to that. And through that journey, I was like, I need to talk about this. There's more than I've always been bubbly, fun, but I've always had a very deep side to me. I always like to go diving deeper and really know the why behind things, right? So that kind of self-development and really being curious about how to work on myself has always been there. So we actually wanted to do a documentary. We had started filming on people's perspective on how they go about dating, and we were trying to introduce something, but that fell in the water. My partner got into serious health issues, so we kind of put it. So it's always been on the back burner, but couldn't figure out how to bring it all together. And I was like, okay,
well,
in life.
Let me tell you, that's how 50 Shades of Bullshit podcast came about. I'm actually going to be producing a docu-series called 50 Shades of Bullshit, all about discovering yourself, modern dating and finding love. And I thought, how can I figure out how to find the right guests, how to get more content, how to learn more about it. And so that's why I decided 50 Shades of Bullshit was going to be a podcast. So you're in the right place.
I love it. I'm very excited. Thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity.
So happy to have you. We're excited. We love your infectious smile and laugh, and I love being on all the clubhouses with you and in our dating professionals groups. You're such a ray of sunshine, so I really love you.
I've been looking forward to this since we had our little Zoom meeting when you gave us our assignment originally. I literally have been like, oh my God, what is she going to say? What's going to happen? Like, you know, like, how does this program work? Like, I mean, how did you come up with this program?
So that's a good question. So everything I teach, I've been through myself, and it's literally the 20 years that it took me to get where I am. So it's a lot of little things that I've put together of everything that I feel people need to learn or be aware of. So that's why I call it the emotional weight loss program, because it's literally, or the MBA of love first. I say you need some different degrees, right? My program is broken in 3 different degrees. So I call them love lessons. So I taught you guys love lesson number 1, which is really getting down to the root of what we want and getting clear on that vision of our relationship. Because here's the thing, guys, we know when we think about wanting to be in a relationship, we think more about it from a perspective, I want to be in love. I want to be in love. And love, I'm starting to understand, is not enough to help you succeed in a long-term committed relationship. There's more to it than just love. You can be in love, but it's not the right love, or it can
that
be
was a big question that you had that I was stumped on, like how to verbalize what do you define love for you? That question, it took me a while, and I was semi mad at you for how long it took me.
Sorry about that. But it's true. We've never been taught anything about love when you really think about it, other than what we were told it should be like. And in our generation, you know, we were raised with the Disney World and the rom-coms, and we still are. So we have this like vision or belief that it needs to be like, you know, butterflies and excitement and easy and just like flow. And you know what? At the end of the day, listen, I have fought through a lot, and I'm in a beautiful relationship, but I refuse to say that it's all friggin' sunshine and rainbows. I have to friggin' work every single day and show up. So, and love, what I also what I've come to understand, because we were never taught anything about it, most people don't even know. So when I ask that question to you guys, we often make it about other people. We don't even make it about us.
You know, I don't remember my answer, so I'm interested to see what I said.
Love for you is consistency. It's touch and affection. It's laughter. It's spending time together on the day-to-day things. And it's traveling together, trust, feeling safe, and having romance.
Aww.
So
that's so good. I want her answer.
You did good.
That was good.
I actually, Gab, I liked you said a few really powerful words that for me was like the feeling that you are accepted and wanted exactly as who you are. For me, that's actually very powerful. And it's not to say that there's a right or wrong answer, right? This is not about that. It's more about you really thinking about what is my relationship with love, because especially people that are looking for love, we tend to have patterns. In my case, you know, I kept attracting non-emotional available men all of my life.
Wait, other way.
But I needed to understand my relationship with love was fear. I was my own worst enemy. I don't want to dive in too deep, but you know, because of my past and a few key events that happened, for me, attracting non-emotional available men, my subconscious mind was protecting it. I was staying in control at all times because I knew it wasn't going to work out. So you really need to understand what is your relationship with love to start off with, to kick off. And then once you understand that, because this is the two things that I've kind of had as an aha moment as I've been doing this work in the last 2 years and with the program and work and talk through it, is that, okay, there's love, but imagine if you actually knew what love is, and we do these kinds of exercise, how you go about to look for a relationship would be very different than what we've all been doing right now. Most people that are looking for a relationship are looking to be, complete, or they want to fill a void, or, they're not in love with themselves first. And as we go through your things, we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail. So love is one thing, the relationship is another. And the love part is not necessarily what will get you to have a long-term committed relationship. It's important, but it depends on the kind of love that you're looking for.
Gotcha. Okay, so where do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so for your audience to understand, I'm just going to explain a little bit what we did and the purpose of this exercise. So as I explained, a lot of the times we think we know what we want, and we're not really clear. We're really good at saying, I know what I want. Looking like for you ladies, and I love, Gab, that you said that, because when you did it, you realized there was a lot of superficial things. And Christine, I love that you noticed that tonight you're going out with a guy that you would have never given the time of day, but you realize that your needs are more important than your wants. So what I made for the audience, I did an exercise with Christine and Gabby. I made them do an exercise for them to understand the difference between what they want and what they need. And wants are typically superficial. I want him to cook. I want her to be 6 feet and skinny. I want him to be funny. I want her to be adventurous, right? It's very, very superficial. It's typically very self-absorbed. Me. Where needs are fundamentals. They're things that you fundamentally, it's like a deal breaker. Okay. So for example, if you were cheated on in all of your relationships, a need for you would be loyalty and feeling secure. So the fact that he's 5'2" or 6 feet and you want a 6 feet is not going to help you in your relationship. It's not what really, really matters. And the even more powerful exercise is to do what you want and need in a partner, and then what you want and need from a relationship. And a relationship, my definition of it, is literally two people that come together that have the willingness. Okay, it has to be mutual. Everything I'm going to talk about, it has to be reciprocated. Yeah, that have the willingness to want to take care of each other's needs, wants, and desires. It's that tenderness that developed between two people. When you're going through hard times or you're experiencing beautiful things, how are you both going to show up for the relationship? And I think I told you this when we had our initial call. I always say a relationship is a threesome. It's you, your partner, and the relationship. And the relationship has an entity of its own. It stands alone. So it's like every time something's happening, it's not about me. It's like, how can I show up for my relationship right now? What is better for my relationship right now? Is this going to service our relationship right now? So there's a very different way of seeing it. So, okay. All right, cool. Right. Any questions as we go into this? So I'm really happy to hear that this was an eye-opener for you both. Now, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. So Christine, what did you feel that you got from doing this exercise compared to when we first talked? Like, what do you feel about?
Separating my wants and needs. I thought that my wants were my needs. I didn't know the difference between them. And I felt like I was trying to sit back and really think about what are my core needs, not just for me, but for how I would be in a relationship with someone. And like you said, how would it serve the relationship itself? So that's what I was trying to think of, was what are the are the needs for having a solid base for a committed relationship?
So what are the 3 top needs you feel that you've identified that are like non-negotiable and a deal breaker, for example?
I don't remember any of my answers, but
That's not good. You should know in your head.
I know I should have read it before I went on. Off the cuff, I'm going to go off the cuff.
As you should.
I'm going to say that it would be that that I'm valued, because I value somebody else. I'm really good at valuing people, being there for me, in any time, good, bad, in whatever, because I am always there for other people, and I think that I can really give that in a relationship, and it's mutual respect.
Very important. Yeah, respect. Okay, great. Gab, I'm gonna kind of jump back and forth between you two.
So what are your 3 needs, Gabby?
I thought it was another question coming. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Like, go at me. So I think that, especially with like, love, like being accepted, feeling wanted, and desired, and I think consistency. I am a bit of an over analyzer. So it's like, if I don't hear from you all day, like I'll start going, just like if we've been talking every day and then like there's one day I don't hear from you, like I will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. By analyzing, let me just say, I will go to left field. Usually I'll call Christine and she'll kind of calm me off calm me down. But I'm very affectionate. Like I'm very like touchy and words, I know my love languages. Like I don't want to say needy, but like there's that like affirmation, like that, you feel the way I feel. In like laughing, like I think that's a non-negotiable. Like I have to laugh with my partner. I have to be able to have fun with them. Okay. And then a non-negotiable, negativity. I feel like there's constant negativity. And that was one that I had never put down before. It's usually like, oh, they don't want kids, or or very political. Like we have very different views. Like you cannot believe what I think, but just mutual respect on that front. So the negativity was a big one for me.
Okay, great. That's great. And what I want you guys to focus or remember when you're doing a need, try to always make it from a positive perspective. So meaning, for example, needy would be desired for me. Negativity would be like positive. I want somebody that's positive, that has a positive outlook on life. So I'm a big believer it needs to come from the positive perspective than inverse. So, not unloyal. You want somebody that's, why am I going to say this in French all of a sudden? That is loyal. So that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Jesus, I'm just saying it in French. Fidèle. Okay, it's all good. Accepted, it's acceptance. Acceptance. So this is the thing. When you identify your needs, there's some needs that become a core value. So for example, you actually, Gab, you had put like down good communicator. So I had that in my needs as well. I needed to be, see the difference? I needed to have communication in my relationship. I knew if, this was going to go and evolve and grow with everything that I had learned through my non-communication in my past relationships, communication was a fundamental need. Mm-hmm. And when we have fundamental needs, it is your job to communicate that to the person that you will be dating, getting to know, because nobody thinks like us. Because here's the other twist to this. When we get clear on what we do want and what we need, we often think that the other person should just know or do it, right? So let's say, for example, you gave a great example. I think it was Gab, when you're sick. Actually, you both did. When you're sick, you would like a partner that takes care of you and that is there and that is attentive to your needs, right?
Yep.
In case I'm sick, I'm like, leave me alone. So you could actually have, and my boyfriend is very attentive. Okay. So I just want to give the example where I could literally not communicate that I want to be left alone. And he will be like trying to pamper. But I'm like, bye, leave me alone. It's like, I don't want that, but it's my job to share and express and communicate what my needs are from my partner. Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of women think that men should just know.
Yeah.
They watch the same movies we do.
No.
Yeah.
That's in love lesson number 3. I talk about the shoulds, and it's the assumptions that we make, right? It's like, there's no shoulds. There's no shoulds. The only shoulds that should exist in the language is if you have communicated what your needs, wants, and desires are. That's the only time. You should have known because I have communicated and told you this. Okay.
Yes.
So it's one thing to really be clear on your needs, but as a person, you need, so here's another example. Gab was saying, I'm needy, right? I need a consistency. If I'm like, you're calling me every day, I need you to show up every day. It's your job for you to communicate that. It's your job to say, listen, this has been a rhythm together. I would really appreciate to know that this is how we can continue showing up. And then if it can't, or there's a change, there you open the lines of communication to see what's happening. And here's the thing, if we don't take the time to learn to communicate our needs from the beginning, ladies, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment, for angry, frustration. And especially if you're not able to do that from the beginning, what the hell are you going to do when you're like 3 months, 6 months, a year in?
Do you know what I'm struggling with on that? I hate to interrupt, but this is something that I'm struggling with at the moment. Went on a great day. It was amazing. He said he wants to see me very soon. We actually planned a date. He was sick. We've had to postpone it. But this is the thing. He's not showing up to just at least text me and say, hey, crazy day, but I was thinking about you. And that's all I need. But it's hard for me to say that to him now because we're just starting. I don't want him to think that I'm a needy, bossy, crazy woman who just, my needs. I don't want that. So I'm having a hard time finding that. When do I say that?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that. And it's a really good point because you can't share and communicate your needs on a first date or even a second.
Right.
It's a work in progress and there's things that take time. But, when I started dating my boyfriend, when we be together, he'd be such a great communicator, very warm and on text, dry, so dry to a point. I started questioning the thing. I was like, I don't know, like he's not really there and whatever. And finally, and we had been dating probably for a couple months at this time, seeing each other once every other week. So not that often, but the lines of communication were consistent.
Okay.
And a girlfriend of mine just told me, why don't you just tell him that you hate texting and that you'd prefer a phone call? You don't need to tell him why. You just say that's what you need. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I ended up saying, you know what? I'm old school. Do you mind if we can speak on the phone instead of texting? Unless it's like, meet you here. Yes, no, but like a conversation. And finally, he was like, actually, I would prefer that. It's better. And bam, that was literally solved. So you have to pay attention or you have to be careful with what those needs are. And I always say, ladies, when you're dating, especially if you're dating men, action is key. Words mean nothing. Words mean nothing. So, for example, this guy, how many dates did you go on with him? 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Just 1.
The second one was canceled because he was sick.
Okay. And have you heard from him ever since?
Yes.
Okay.
But
And
it's after I've prompted it, after
You're initiating it.
I'm initiating it. And I even said at one point, okay, so if you want to talk to me, I'll be waiting to hear from you. And I waited 2 days,
Okay.
and I finally couldn't take it anymore. And I just said, hey, I hope you're alive, because he had been sick. You know, I
Yeah.
hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling better. And he would chat with me for 2 seconds, and then it would be over. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. It's been a little difficult, but he is somewhat receptive. And I even said to him at some point in a text, I think it was after he wished me happy birthday today, I just said, yeah, are you still interested in getting together and getting to know each other? And he said, yes. And then it was a big like smiley hearts and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, I just need to step back then. Let
yeah,
him take the lead. And if he doesn't take the lead, then it's not going to happen.
yeah, you tried, right? You
Mhm.
you actually reached out, and you have to be careful because sometimes we want things to go the way we want it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're very impatient.
Yeah.
We're very like, okay, let's get this show on the road. And it's like, this is where, when I say dating is a really great tool for you to observe yourself once you've done this kind of stuff. Because
Yeah.
once you identified your needs, your wants, what really matters, you have to take your time to get to know someone. People rush into things so quickly, especially when we're
Gabby.
dating. There's no rush. I know, right?
I love you, Gabby, but we're rushers. We
Yes.
are. We get each other.
When
we
I get
rush.
excited about someone, when I'm impulsive, and I mean, if I'm like, let's get the rabbi. Like, let's go.
I know. And you know what, Gabby, I'm going to put you on the spot right now because I read, let me see here what it was.
Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sure this will help a lot of people. Let's see, what was your relationship with love? You said that it's been hard, and you seem to always get hurt. It doesn't seem to be working. And when that's the case, you really need to stop and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? Because often it comes to us first. When you're repeatedly attracting these kinds of same things, like I was consistently attracting, like I was the girl that all the guys would date before they get married and have kids, all the single friggin' time. And I was like, what the F? So I finally understood I was my own problem. So that's why once you do these things, you need to identify what am I doing wrong? Okay, so for one thing, you tend to rush into things. Why do you rush into things? Okay, now that I'm doing these kinds of stuff and I've understood like what really matters and how I want things to do, let me date and go into an observation mode to see how I can try things differently. I always wear black. I'm going to try wearing red, for example. It's like as simple as that, not necessarily the reality, but I mean, so let me see what it's going to take to just take a guy. Because to be honest, Gab, when we fall in love too quickly, and I'm not to say that there's definitely exceptions to the rules, like my best friend has been married for 10 years. It was a one night stand. So I'm not saying that this shit doesn't happen. Okay. But you don't give yourself time to actually be chased, courted, and really get a chance to observe who the person really is, because you do not know somebody in 3 months and 6 months. I'm sorry, you don't, especially if you're looking to build a family and have kids, long-term committed relationship. What is the rush? Why are we rushing? So take your time and put yourself in observation mode. How do I usually behave? Okay, now I know I typically behave like this. What do I need to do to change my pattern, kind of thing?
Oh, look at
I
your
feel
face.
like you're like looking into my soul right
Yeah,
now, and
you
like
are.
reading my diary.
Yeah. Right now, especially because she's in a new relationship and it's going very well and she's very happy and he seems to be very happy. I think I said to you last week, just sit back, step back, let him lead the way. Just take your time, I think is what I said.
Gabby,
So-
you need to sign up for my dating ABCs of dating, girl, because I'm going to help you. Because this is the thing. If you're doing this work now, while you're starting, especially if you found a really great guy,
Mhm.
your patterns are going to show up in different ways. And I'm going to tell you what I mean, because a woman I had worked a lot on my own personal work, that she helped me through identifying all these behaviors. I saw her 6 months after I met my man. And he was like, she was like, I heard you met this guy and it's great. And I was like, yeah, all the hard work has paid off. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And she tells me, oh, well, this is where the real work starts. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're totally going to self-sabotage. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm almost like really pissed and I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm like, is she for real right now? She's like, yeah, because you're not used to receiving what you have actually finally called in to work with. You've always been used to receiving the same thing. So now your brain is like, what's happening? Oh my God, this is not possible. And a month later, sure enough, I caught myself. I was like trying to find all the excuses in the world saying, he's not a guy for me. He's too old. This is not this. This is not that. And I was like, oh, I'm self-sabotaging. But I had done the work. Like somebody told me the words. So I knew. I caught myself. I was able to. So this is the important time to continue doing this work.
Bless you. Good Lord.
To make sure. So what makes this person so great? Not to put you on the spot, but what do you think this is like?
I don't know how to just, I mean, the chemistry, I mean, our first day, we just talked for hours. We closed down the restaurant. I get the good morning texts and good night texts. I mean, we're genuinely interested in getting to know each other. We laugh all the time. When we spend time together, like we don't get sick of each other. He lives about an hour away. So, I mean, we could spend like a few days like together and we get sad when we have to part. And similar love languages. And he came over for Super Bowl and my Rams were in it. So I had a party and my anxiety was really high. And I found that he was very calming. Like he calmed me down. Mm-hmm. And at that moment I was like, because I'm used to dating like other hotheads, like people that are emotional too. Like, and not that he's not emotional, but where you feed off each other and it gets crazy in the explosion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I say what I see from the outside, seeing into their relationship? I'm seeing a very calming, patient, loving guy who is looking at her and valuing who she is and accepting Gabby for who she is. And I've truly enjoyed seeing, I do see that. So from what little I've seen, being so far away, I am seeing that.
That's beautiful.
She has met him.
Just by video, phone calls, stuff like that. So
well, you can tell a lot by video, so that's good. That's great. And you said something magical, Christine. You said valued. She feels valued and she's really being who she is. And sometimes I remember when we had our initial conversation, you were always attracting the same guy that, you're fire and you were attracting fire. And I was like that as well. Type A, wanting type A. And it clashed at all times. And this woman had told me at one point, you need to start looking at more feminine energy men that are a little bit less testosterone driven and like that type A. And I was like, and this is exactly what it is. So the energies, I think you had Barry, I listened to your conversation and he talked a lot about the feminine and masculine energy and how the opposite, will attract each other. There's a reason for that. So there needs to be a disbalance for not the same to create that attraction. Yeah. So, and I always say, if he loves you like that and you're that bubbly, fun person and he has that way of calming you down, it's such a beautiful balance. As long as he doesn't stop you from being this like bubbly, fun, loud person, this is great. It's a new venture for you. And yes, great.
It's very different than it's very different than my previous. And I mean, I always went for like an ultra alpha, like, you know, me Tarzan, you Jane kind of crap. And I'm finding that I'm finding myself being more and more attracted to him as I'm getting to know him more. So
See, you said something very key that I say. So you're getting more attracted to him. So let's take this back to the wants and needs. When you take your time to get to know someone that fulfills the needs that you're really clear about, you forget about the wants. Certain things that you had on your list will disappear because it doesn't matter anymore. It's like that true fundamental. I wanted on my list, I need somebody that dances. I love to dance. I'm dancing all the time. It's like I want to be with a guy that we can go out and do some salsa dancing or whatever. Well, guess what? Zero rhythm. Like, this is the dance. And I remember asking him, I was like, what do you mean you don't dance? I said, can you do a shoulder roll? Something?
He's like, this shoulder roll?
Sidestep.
But I have gotten to know him. He was so tender, attentive, and really he's an old school gentleman. And when I was with him, I felt safe. I felt nurtured. And I was like, you know what? This is what really matters. This is what really matters. And today, I mean, the guy will support me and drink tequila shots to come on the dance floor and at least do this if I wanted to dance. And that is supporting each other's needs, wants, and desires, right?
I love it.
So I love that you say that. So I would encourage you to keep taking your time to really continuously get to know the person, because we often skip steps. I mean, the courting part of dating is a lot of fun. And I think that, if we've met our person, we have the rest of our lives to do everything together. I often think, we could even talk about, sex, for example, where people sometimes right away, they feel they don't have the perfect sex life. And I'm like, okay, that's workable. I don't know if you guys saw the show Sex, Love, Goop. I'm kind of hitting off topic here, but I'm just trying to, my point is that everything with time, commitment can be worked out and explored and taken to another level. So that could be as a couple, as an activity as a couple, where you're like, okay, we're going to, I don't know, do a course in this and grow into that. It doesn't need to be hot and sticky from the beginning on everything. This is how you grow and evolve together as a couple. It's like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
We have, oh my gosh, maybe about 6-7 minutes left. Is there anything else from this section from this first step that stands out to you that we should talk about?
Well, I definitely feel like in Gabby's case, you need to get more clearer. You're not clear enough. You're very vague. You've brought in some great points but you would need to continuously go, and I say the vision when you guys are dating, it's an ongoing document, right? This is something that you don't do it in 24 hours and you're finished. It doesn't work that way. You're looking for a long-term committed relationship. The effort that you put into it is what you'll get as a result. Okay. So if you've done it in 24 hours and didn't really think about it, sorry. It's like you're going to get crap again, right? It's like the online dating profiles. People don't take the time to invest. You really need to sit down and go back to it. Like I said, it's not something that's clear in 24 hours. So don't give up. And then one thing that I wanted to ask you, sorry, Gab, and then I'll go to Christine. Don't worry, Gab. It's not just
yeah, I'm like,
no. It's because you kind of, she sent me a different document. So I read yours last, and that's why it's just super fresh in my mind. So, at the end, I ask that it's really clear. It's really important for you to know the why behind the want. And you really need to ask yourself a question. The why behind the want is because sometimes if you don't take the time to ask yourself that question, you could say, well, so, okay, I'm going to do this exercise with you. So you said, I want to feel loved, appreciated, supported. I want to share my life with someone. I want to feel loved. Why do you want to feel loved?
Is that me or Gabby?
That's Gabby.
Yeah. Yeah, Gabby. Why do you want to feel love?
I mean, I want. Oh, ding, fries ready. I want a partner. I want a lover. I want a best friend. I want to share my experiences, my life, my happiness, my stupid moments, my sadness with someone that I would do anything for, and that person will do anything for me.
Love that.
It's like me and them versus the world. And I've seen through my family and my my grandparents, my parents, my sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins, what it's supposed to look like, or what it can look like. And I feel like I'm ready. I wasn't for a while, but I'm ready.
Okay, that's good. And see, I like how you took it back to your family. It's because you want to feel love, because you've experienced that love, you saw that love, and you want to experience that kind of love.
Yes.
So do you see where I'm going? There's a very different way of like just saying, I want this, but not really diving to the root of where it's from. So your root of wanting to be loved, to be honest, is because of what you've seen in your family and experience. That's the fundamental reason that
Beautiful.
you want to be loved. The rest is kind of the fluff law that goes with it, if that makes any sense. Okay. So I would just advise for you to continue as you go, even when you're dating this guy, like really go diving deeper. You're gonna hate me.
I still love you, but I'm like
and
Christine's turn.
Yes.
So you said, there's a question that I asked you. How do you want to be taken care of? And you answered, I want to also know that he is taking care of my physical and emotional needs. So what does that mean? Physical and emotional?
Physical is several things. One, that he is passionate about his career, or that he say something happened to me and I couldn't work or I couldn't financially contribute for some reason, that he could and want to take care of me financially. I'm not saying he should have to, that I'm not capable of contributing, but if something were to happen, I'd want to know he would want and desire to do that and be able to. Also, my physical needs. I'm a toucher. I desire to be. I'm a toucher.
Yeah,
and so
what
I
are your
want
languages? 5 languages of love. Your physical touch.
physical touch. And then emotional, meaning that he supports my excitement and my times that I'm being introspective, and that he understands that I can be super party girl 1 minute and the next I'm like, okay, so we got to go home now because I've got responsibilities, and and he's like, I'm down for both. I think I need someone, or desire to have someone in my life that can fulfill those things, because I can do those things for somebody.
So 2 things. You need somebody to accept you for who you are.
Mhm.
As simple as that. You need
Yeah.
somebody to accept you for who you are. And
Mhm.
2, I want you ladies to remember that it's not necessarily that you are what you're asking for, that's how the other person will need to receive it. It goes back to the 5 languages of love, because we tend to give the way we want to receive because it's what we know.
Mhm.
So it's not because, you say you are this way that I will do that for that person. If I get that, I will do that for that person as well. There's no condition to that. So just so if you are learning to communicate your needs, you need to be able to receive on the other end when your partner is going to tell you what their needs are, how you can fulfill theirs, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it's never
Yeah.
all about us. So if your partner, for example, is not physical touch, it's words of affirmation, but you're so used to giving physical touch, you will eventually need to develop words of affirmation because that is his love language. That's what
I
he
get
needs
that.
to be. So there's a, when we do these needs and wants lists, it's important for you to do what yours are, but you also have to be able to be on the receiving end for your partner when they will communicate it. So
That's beautiful. I get that. So really quickly, because we are out of time now, what's step 2 really quick?
So step 2 is really going down. It's all about you discovering what are your patterns. Why do you behave the way you do? Why you attract the kind of relationships that you do? So that's like a deeper.
So should Gabby and I be working with you on that and then have you back and discuss those?
Yeah, I think it would be great because I'd love to follow you in your evolution and I think that the listeners would probably benefit from it as well.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, Chantal, I can't thank you enough for being here. I will reach out to you right away and get you scheduled for us to do that next step so that our listeners can do this journey with us. And Gabby, I love you. Everybody,
happy birthday, my love.
Happy birthday,
you.
ladies. Happy birthday. Have a good night tonight.
Thank you. So until next week, we'll be back same time, same place. And until then, keep it real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.